Choo. And hello, everybody. Welcome back to another of our Strad Sundays. We're here with Session 1, Curses Also May Be Vampires, with your good friend DM Misha. Last time on this particular channel was about, I don't know, a month and a half ago. We had a lot of holiday things happen, but there were some holiday
It was
specials.
last year.
It was last year. Just after Thanksgiving. We skipped over all of December, although we did have a couple of holiday specials near the end of the year. And you'll be able to check those out on YouTube or possibly maybe still on Twitch right now. Not really sure if it's still loaded up. You'll be able to check those out on YouTube within the coming weeks or so as I get time off of work to actually upload things every once in a while. And you can find the latest episodes of Curses, Also Maybe Vampires, and Session 2's Barovian Nights up on YouTube right now, all the way up to the current time. But anyway, last time on Curses, Also Maybe Vampires, our friends had a very intensive fight with a specter and a doll and just a couple of toys. They don't seem to have a lot of good interactions with toys, unfortunately. uh, but eventually they managed to find the door to the basement, and they are now level 2 after a grueling battle with a specter that almost took Arthur out in one hit. And Gon really pulled through and saved the day with their newfound well of power. They decided to go back downstairs to a relatively safe room with 2 nice beds where they can take a little bit of a nap without having to worry too much about what's in the house. And
because we kind of burned the last room.
yeah.
Yeah.
The other room we rusted in doesn't really exist anymore.
It sure
It
doesn't.
exists. There's just no roof, and the mist is kind of sneaking in through the hole in the roof.
Yeah, it's probably not very good for your health. But anywho, Gon and Arthur also still have some passengers riding in on them. Gon with his little bossy britches, with their little bossy britches friend Rose, and we've got Arthur with their crybaby friend Thorn. So that's going on too right now. Until they can find a way to either rescue the children from the house or put them to some semblance of rest now that their bones have been burned.
That's a thing, yep.
I don't
I
know
take full
what you're
responsibility.
talking about.
But anywho, we
That
went
was
to
my fault.
this lovely safe room, and we were just getting down to settle in for just a nice little nap when, what do you know, curiosity kills the cat. Our tabaxi decided that they were going to open a door, a closet door. And we all know how their record with closets goes, guys. And they found a hat on a shelf, and they reached out with their glaive, and the tip pokes the hat, and absolutely nothing happens. It's a normal hat on a shelf. You've been waiting for that for a month and a half. The tip of your glaive slices into the crumpled old top hat, and you smell what smells like moldering cloth and kind of old washing materials, but absolutely nothing happens. Everything is perfectly safe.
Alrighty.
Oh boy.
Also, if anybody hears any screaming in the background, it is my children. I do apologize.
I thought the house was screaming.
Nope, that is my children. They're helping with the ambiance right now. I'm about to text the oldest one and tell him to stop without having to yell. But anywho,
Right,
yeah,
fine.
you find a hat and that's it.
Nothing else in here?
Nope, just a basket of clothes on the ground and a hat with a hole in it now on the shelf.
Alrighty. I will close the door then and be like, yep, that room is clear.
Alright, can we rest now?
Yes, please.
This is my bed.
Nicholas will go over here then and claim this bed.
Ollie's gonna settle down, curl up in the corner, and his tail wraps around his knees, and he wraps his arms around his knees, and he just kind of fetal positions in the corner.
Arthur likes to take first watch, sort of. I mean, it's better not to sleep for everybody, and decides to pray these hard times.
That's a good idea.
I'm
Also,
not
I
sure about
apologize.
that, but sure. But authors think so.
I also apologize. For some reason, since I put my computer back together, my Discord has decided if it's not actively if it's minimized, it's not going to let me talk anymore, and I have to leave and rejoin the chat to make it work again. So I don't know why that happens, but if I leave and rejoin a bunch, that's why.
Okay.
Okay.
Just wanted to slip that in there.
Okie dokie.
Also, I will be muting a lot because I have a bit of a cough.
Gotcha.
Oh, I hope you're okay.
Yeah, it's just a cold. I did a
Okay.
test and everything.
Mm.
It's not the plague! Hooray!
There's a bunch of
Hooray!
people with
So
the
that-
plague over here, and I am just amazed I have not caught it yet. I've got like a glove compartment full of quick tests that every time I feel like a headache or lethargic or a cough, I just take one. And they've all been negative so far.
Good.
Alright,
Anywho.
anywho. So Arthur's going to be keeping watch for the first little bit of this and doing some praying while that happens. And the other three of you are going to try to take your rest. Who's going to, if you actually get a full long rest, who's going to be taking watch after Arthur?
Ollie, probably, because he actively has nightmares, and he probably won't be able to go back to sleep once he does wake up.
Okay. So it's going to go Arthur and then Ollie, and then is it going to be a three-part person so everybody can get a full rest, or is it going to be a short rest for Arthur and Ollie and a long rest for the other two?
We can all take turns, I think.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
So you'll be looking at about 12 hours if you want everybody to be able to get a long rest, with Arthur watching the first 4, Ollie watching the second 4, and Gan, you volunteered to watch the last one?
We could do 10 hours with actually no.
Okay.
2, 2, 2, but then we'd need, yeah, okay. I guess that maybe works.
Yeah, I think that works that way. Each one of us did 2 hours and only take 10 hours to rest. 8 hours of sleep, 2 hours of watching. Oh, but that would leave 2 hours of
Yeah, where we'd all have to be asleep.
Mm-hmm.
or something. 3. 8.
If we all do 3.
If you all do 3, you only have to do 11 hours.
Yeah.
Oh well, close enough.
Yeah, we could if we I don't know if that hour will change anything, but we could do 3 each.
2.5.
Oh, please stop the math.
Anywho, let's just see if y'all are even asleep for that long. So, so for the first watch, Arthur, you said you were going to, while you're taking surreptitious glances at the door and just along the walls themselves, just making sure everything's copacetic, casting a wary eye at that closet door every once in a while, just because PTSD. You're gonna go ahead and pray to your God. What do you say?
Oh, Ilmater, the one who endures, give me the strength to protect my team and to guide these lost souls, meaning Thorn and Rose, to a happier beyond and show us the way to be free of this house. Don't know, I can't say properly in English, sorry.
Oh, that was great.
And you reach out and you hunt for the divine life of Ilmater that you usually can feel ever so close to your soul. And what you touch instead is something cold and dark and writhing. And a shudder runs through you both spiritually and physically as a chuckle echoes out from the other. Oh, you poor little pup. Strength is not what you will find here. But if you amuse me enough, maybe you will survive. Strive
Who
to amuse me. And then
who
there's
are
nothing.
you?
The only
And I
the only answer to you as you desperately reach out for a name, a vision of its being, you feel something touch your shoulder. And you open your eyes and look over, and there's a single black raven feather upon your pauldron.
I take the raven feather and put it somewhere safe. After examining it, can I look at it? Is it just like a raven feather, or is it?
You can go ahead and do an Arcana check if you want to, or a Nature check.
It doesn't.
So, it looks like a simple black raven feather, but as you peer closer, your wolfish eyes squinting just a little bit suspiciously, you notice that the edges of it are hazy and shadow-like.
Okay, I'm definitely keeping it, but now I'm intrigued. And spend the rest of my watch try to think up what would amuse such a cold, frightening being that keeps me from my god.
All right. And nothing happens during your watch. No loud noises, no ominous whisperings. In fact, the house is strangely and eerily silent. Um, it's honestly unnerving in and of itself because you're used to it making at least some noise. You haven't noticed since the last time you had to do a watch, but it's never actually been quiet, at least not completely. There's always been some kind of eerie skittering noise in the background, or shifting of boards as if feet were treading, though no one else is in the house but you, as far as you know. But right now it's silent. Silent as the grave for the next 4 hours. And then it's time to wake up Ollie.
But you
Ollie.
probably don't have to, because all of a sudden Ollie just jolts awake. His limbs splay out in a panicked manner, and and then he
Easy.
clutches his head
Everything's
and
fine.
just whispers, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry."
Calm yourself, friend. Everything's fine. You're safe.
Um, okay, um, and then he takes a couple deep breaths and seems to recenter himself with Arthur's help, and I'm sorry. What time is it?
It's time for your turn on the watch soon, so if you're
right.
sure that you're okay.
I'm, I don't think I don't think I'll be able to get back to sleep, so I'll just and then Ollie kind of picks himself off the floor and sidesteps Arthur, gives him a slight nod, and then he'll stand by with his back to the door and just keep an eye out and an ear out, and good night, Arthur. Rest well.
Thank you. And Arthur kind of keeps an eye on Ollie for a few more minutes, like 10 to 20 minutes, and until he just kind of drifts off, tired and weary and a little bit worn out from everything that happened in the previous day.
Yeah. And pretty much all he sees of Ollie is he
Oh, you got cut off. You got cut off, Felix. Whoa.
Ooh.
the thing. Woohoo! It did the thing. Okay.
It
anyway,
did the thing. All we see of Ollie as he drifts off.
Is he's just rubbing his face and clearing his throat and just
Okay.
yeah, just calming down.
Vaughn, you need to get out of the call and reconnect because you are a robot. Not Viking, but
Oh.
Vaughn.
I thought that was his phone vibrating.
Was it?
Might have been. I don't know.
Oh, it could be.
Am I roboting?
Oh, not anymore.
No.
Okay, cool. Anywho, yes. So you put your back to the door, and you survey the room, kind of looking jumpily from side to side. Your body shivering and twitching every once in a while from the horrible nightmare that you were having, and you rolled me a perception check.
Mm-hmm. I sure will. Ollie, character sheet, and perception.
Uh-oh.
Oof. Passive perception is Passive perception is what we call paranoia.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so you're leaning up against the door, and unlike when Arthur was on watch, the house is making sounds now. There's the creaks and groans that you're used to. Every once in a while, you swear you hear tiny doll-like feet pitter-pattering on the ceiling above your head, just racing back and forth. Every time you do, you jerk your head up, but you don't see anything up there. The ceiling's intact. And somewhere near the middle of your watch, you start to hear a scraping noise at the door behind you.
Ollie's just gonna kind of turn his head and, with a nervous glance to the rest of the room, I guess put his ear to the door and try to see if he hears anything other than the scratching. And also make sure the door is locked.
So the door has a bolt that you can slide from the inside. You didn't do it before, but you do it now, and it clicks into place heavily. And then there is a pause to the sounds of scratching as you do that. And then all of a sudden they pick up en masse. And you hear, as you press your ear to the door,
This is fine.
Did it again, gosh darn it. Anyway, Ollie just he starts with a and then it's very soft, and then it just increases in volume as as he moves, not to wake anybody else up yet, but to the floor where he gets on his hands and knees, lowers his head, and tries to peek under the door and see, is there like people feet, or are there paws? Is it an animal? Is it a creature? He doesn't know at this point.
So you go ahead and you get down on the floor and you rest your head on the floorboards themselves as you peer under the gap in the door that's maybe about 2 to 3 inches ish. It's actually a pretty sizable gap underneath the door, so you can see outside. You see the flickering of firelight from the fireplace that's lit in the room outside the door, and you see a movement of shadows. And then there's about 7 eyes, all of different shapes and sizes, looking back at you from out of a mound of amorphous black. And a mouth of many teeth opens and a long, fleshy pink tongue jabs out underneath the door at your face. Make a dexterity saving roll.
I hate it. Dexterity saving roll. Yay!
You jerk your head back as the tongue laps the floorboards, just where your face had been a moment before, and it does it slowly, languidly, and slithers back towards the door in a slow, slithering fashion, as it zigzags from side to side, leaving a trail of white, goopy saliva in its wake. Before
Can I try to stomp on the tongue before it
Sure.
vanishes under the door again?
Go ahead and roll me. I guess a stomp would be more of a strength-based thing. So roll me a strength, just a straight strength roll.
Because just out of pure instinct, he's just gonna be like, no.
So you bring your foot down upon the tongue and you feel it squish and squelch beneath you, and it starts to swell, the bubblegum pink saliva dripping appendage just ballooning outwards and swelling until it's twice the size of your leg, and then it goes pop! And your leg is covered with white sticky saliva, and there is no evidence of a tongue anymore.
Ew.
Thanks, I hate it. So, Ollie is gonna, take off his boot, and set it aside and hobble away from it, and then contemplate his life choices.
There are some rags in the closet if you want to clean up.
Yeah, he's just gonna stay away from the door and sit down, like, just he's gonna sit down right here and stare at the door. Hyper vigilant now. As long as it's not coming in, he's not gonna open the door and let it in. Everybody can keep sleeping. It's fine. Nothing happened. It's fine.
Yep.
Poor Ollie.
Alright. Nothing happens for the remainder of the 4 hours you're on watch, except for occasional scratching noises, and what you think you catch every once in a while is the flicker of a squirmy pink tongue just dart slightly underneath the door before retracting. But it comes time near the end of the 4 hours where even the scratching halts and you haven't seen it in a while, and the saliva has dried to your boot, leaving behind a weird kind of caked, dirty look to it, that you can scrape off with a knife or something if you wanted to, and a trail of goop leading from where it had licked the floor to the door that it had come out from beneath.
Pretty. Okay, well, that's great. Whenever it's the time for the next watch, Gon's next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ollie's gonna, with his eyes still very much glued to the door, Ollie's gonna, walk over to Gon's bed, and it's still no boot, so it's like clunk, step, clunk, step, clunk, step. And he's gonna reach over and poke Gon gently and be like, hey bud, wake up, it's your turn,
What? Can't you see I'm sleeping here?
Yeah, but it's your turn to watch, and something might have happened. No pressure.
What did you do?
Didn't do anything. There was something scratching at the door, and then there was a lot of eyeballs, and then there was a tongue that slipped under the door, and I stomped on it, and my boot is all covered in shit now. I keep hearing stuff. But, I kinda don't want to be conscious anymore, so I'm gonna remedy that, if you don't mind.
Alright, just try not to make anything worse, like going and stomping on any tongues or anything. I'll go watch the door. You lie there and do what you do best. Nothing.
Roger, on it, cool. And then, Ollie's gonna, probably take the bed because, his back hurts. It's fine. And he's probably not gonna sleep that much, just like asleep for a couple minutes and then awake for 20 and then asleep for a couple minutes.
All right. So, Gone. Go ahead and roll me a perception check at the start of your watch.
Alright, I'm gonna actually use real dice this time.
Sounds good to me.
That's gonna be fun.
As long as you post it in the thingy after you roll it.
Yeah. Perception. Okay. Oh, that's pretty good. 17 plus 3. There we go.
20. Perfect. Alrighty, so Gon, what are you doing during your watch? Just sitting and watching? Describe how Gon likes to go about his watch.
So I think Gon kind of sits there and it's just like, I feel so irritated at Ollie. I feel so irritated at Ollie, like for like maybe like the first 10 minutes, and then it like gradually starts to fade, and he's just like, oh man, why was I so mean to Ollie? That was really uncalled for. Just like realizing I don't feel like myself anymore, and it's just kind of, he's almost like, well, okay, so he's probably actually pretty close to the door because he's got that blind sight and there's a sizable gap. So he's keeping his awareness, but not even like looking at the door because he doesn't have to, just like kind of focusing in on himself, and like, I guess he's like kind of looking down at his hands and just like, he's like, I don't know, tugging on his sleeves and things and just feeling like insecure in his own body right now. Just like something feels weird.
That is definitely
I don't
teenage girl
feel
talk.
normal. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So yeah, Gon, while you are struggling with that, you don't hear any of the things that Ollie was describing coming out of the door. You do hear normal creaks and groans of the house itself. At one point in time, you think you hear a big thump from underneath the floorboards beneath your feet that makes the house rattle just a little bit, but nothing happens after that until you think you hear a shuffling noise coming from the closet that Nicholas had checked before you guys went to sleep.
Not this shit again. Is there a gap? Can I sense in the closet, or is that one very closed up?
It is closed, but there is a gap underneath the door, about the same amount of gap that there is underneath the door that leads to outside this room. It's about a 2 or 3 inch gap that you could peer under if you wanted to.
I'm just gonna get right up close to it and use, I think I've got 5 feet. 5 feet of blind sight. If there's anything like on the other side of the door, I can kind of sense it moving around.
Okay, so you put your hands on the door and you focus and you try to see exactly what is on the other side with your blind sight. And the impression you get is bigger than a closet. It feels like an endless, empty void that is also somehow moving. at the same time, as if beyond this door is a yawning, gaping hole into nothingness that is both empty and filled to the brim with swirling, writhing life.
Oh my god, this is making me nauseous. Let me see what I've got around here. Okay, my bedroll. Alright, he's gonna reach into his bag and pull out his bedroll and try to use it to plug up the bottom of the door.
So
None of that now, none of that. You shh.
you take the bedroll.
It's fine.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
It's sleepy time. Everyone's going to bed. You go to bed too, okay?
You take your bedroll and you shove it underneath the gap in the door, and you start stuffing like the edges there to kind of block it off. And then you find it's a lot easier to stuff. And then you realize it's because something's pulling it from the other side. And all of a sudden it just gets yanked into the closet.
All right, you keep that. Get some rest, for God's sake.
Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss.
How about one of these? There's these like chests at the end of the bed. Maybe I could push one in front of the door.
Well, it does look like something that you'd probably be able to move pretty easily. It's sitting on wood itself, so you could just slide it. You wouldn't have to pick it up. It's not built into the bed or anything. It is a separate piece.
Gonna push that in front of the door.
And you slide it and starts grating across the floor as everybody's sleeping. It goes.
And he's also going the whole time.
Ollie jolts awake with a yelp and then sees what's happening and just kind of lays back down again.
Just faces the other direction, eyes wide open, just pretending it's not happening.
I squint every time there's a new
It's like nails on a chalkboard almost. And now you've got a chest in front of the door.
Get some sleep.
Does the door actually open outwards?
The door opens inwards, actually.
Get some sleep. Ollie just whispers, "Try."
Alright, do I still have like the cut up part of that hempen rope from earlier?
You sure do.
Alright, let's do the tying the handles together trick again.
Alright, you go ahead and you tie the handles together.
Alright.
Go ahead and do a sleight of hand to see how well you tie them there.
Alright, let's see. Sleight of hand. I am less good at that. Not so great.
Fine,
A
you're
10.
fine. This is fine.
It's like a little bow tie knot, like what you'd use to tie your shoes. It probably isn't going to hold up under too much stress, but it'll at least give you enough time to know that somebody's trying to open the door before it comes loose.
There you go.
He's like squinting at it like, good enough. You know what? I'm not gonna try again. That's
It was like,
just gonna make it
Three.
worse.
but only on one side of the one end of the room. Like it looks complicated, but you
Also-
pull just one end and it unravels.
Also, unless you want to try to get it back, you can remove the bedroll from your inventory now.
Yeah, I don't think I have a bedroll anymore.
We can check in the morning.
Yeah.
That's a problem for later me.
Alright. So you're sitting there for about 2 more hours, and then you hear a jiggling, and you'll notice that the handles on the doors are jiggling because the closet door is trying to open, but it's only ever so slightly, as though who's ever pulling it from inside the closet is only vaguely trying to open it and is not really serious right now. They're just like jiggling and tugging at the handle just a little bit. Your rope's currently holding.
Okay. All right. In any other circumstance, that would be kind of cute.
Alrighty. And then there is a knocking on the inside of the closet door.
I'm gonna come up here and like sit on the chest and just be like, "Hey, what's up? You still haven't gone to bed?"
Story.
Sorry, what was that?
Story.
Story? Oh. Oh, let me see what I got. All right.
Once was
This
a little
one
bastard
might-
in the closet who didn't go to sleep.
Yeah. All right. This one's kind of from a faraway land, so I don't know how much you'll like it, but so once upon a time, there's this distant land called the Feywild. It's a big sort of wild wood filled with fairies and hags and all kinds of creatures. And lording over this Feywild is a beautiful, I'm told, I mean, I've never seen her, a beautiful a queen fairy called the Summer Queen. Now, she, on the one hand, she's goodness and kindness and all that, but on the other, if you cross her, you're gonna have a real bad time. So, this Summer Queen, one day there was a tricky crow called Baithduv, and Baithduv decided to play a harmless little prank. I guess it's debatable how harmless, but decides to play a trick on the Summer Queen. And I'd say it got a little bit out of hand. Earlier, my companions actually set fire to a room, and it consumed the whole top level. It was a bit like that. It got way out of hand. Yeah. You know how these tricks get. So the Summer Queen, she was just furious, and she told the crow. She said, "You are banished from the Feywild, and your whole family is banished, and I never want to see you in the light of the sun again." And then the sun, it began to burn their skin. It began to weaken them and make them old. And so they all had to go hide underground, away from the light. And to this day, that is where they hide, so that the Summer Queen's wrath cannot touch them. How was that? You feeling a little sleepy now?
Scary lady.
Can you enunciate a little better?
Good story.
Yeah, thanks. One of my favorites.
And then you hear a scraping along the door as if of large, sharp claws. And you hear it ask, "Midnight snack?"
Don't get greedy.
You hear a
Let's see.
whimper from Ollie's bed.
I mean, I got these old rations. Don't know if that's your cup of tea. And I guess I'll sort of
You move the chest
I
again.
yeah. I'm assuming there's like probably a little gap where I can squeeze one in.
Drop the ration on the floor and kick it back under the
The
Pretty
door.
much, that is exactly what is happening.
Yeah, the door is bigger than the chest is wide, so there's gaps to the right and the left that you could slip something through.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put it on the ground and exactly that, just whoosh, slide it
Sucker kick
under
it.
without getting too close, yeah.
Alrighty. And you hear abruptly the loud sounds of chewing, a little bit of a hacking noise as somebody dislikes the taste, and then more chewing.
How are we doing? You need some water or anything?
Don't drink water.
Water? Alright.
No.
No?
Blood.
Blood? I don't got any of that.
Blood. Blood. And as it shouts the words, you hear the banging on the door again, one after the other. Blood, blood, blood.
Is it loud enough to wake us?
Blood,
Yes.
blood, gallons of the stuff.
All that he can drink, and it will never be enough.
Man.
Alright, reckon we don't get any more sleep, folks. Up and at 'em.
How many hours was that for
It was a full rest for, let's see, it was 4 hours that you did, Arthur, and then 4 hours that Ollie did, and then almost 4 hours that Gon did. I would say, actually, 8 hours is a long rest, so actually you guys did it. That's 12.
Cool.
Yay.
That's 12. You guys all have a full rest. You have your hit points back. You have your spells back. I'm not going to quibble about, like, maybe 20 minutes of it off.
Do we keep the temporary hit points, or those are gone now?
I believe that those vanish after 24 hours. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gon.
Yeah, you did mention they were special temporary hit points, not just.
Did I?
You did that through your sanctuary ability, if I'm not mistaken.
You can grant it temporary hit points. There is nothing that says anything about the hit points going away.
Okay, then I guess you still have your
Is
temporary hit
it-
points if you
Is
have
that
any
a spell?
left.
It's a channel divinity.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, if it doesn't say anything about a time limitation, you just have those temporary hit points until something hits you and takes them away. HP always comes
Damn.
out of your temp hit points first, so they're the
Games
first things to get spent in combat.
Okay.
I believe I got all my stuff back now.
So Arthur kind of jerks awake from where he's sitting against the wall, kind of hugging his great sword. Samurai style, sleeping method. Looks at the door.
We got a visitor.
Kind of
Alrighty.
looks at the rope that's tying the handles together. How bad is it?
Want some blood. Yeah.
Blood!
I reckon most of us don't have it, free to give.
Do I delete this? I'm sorry. I don't know how to do this.
If need be, we could feed it its own blood, if necessary.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, you wanna-
Is that how that works?
You could stick a limb under the door and we could hack it off for you. How about that?
I want to howl again.
Oh Lord. Okay, here, the stage is yours.
If it's right against the door, Like Arthur kind of
Oh, wait,
motions everybody back. It's okay. It's just one like 5-foot radius. You're fine. You don't have to be that far. But Arthur kind of gently motions and pushes Gon out of the way and
Oh,
back
he's
a
already
little
gone.
bit, and then lays his ears against the wall and against the door to make sure it's still there. Can he hear anything?
You hear heavy breathing.
And then he gives the signal that he's going to howl. It's
Throw my
almost a
hands
science
over
by
my
now.
ears. Yeah.
Nicholas covers his ears as well.
What is Ollie?
You hear a crashing noise from inside the closet as if somebody has been flung backwards at something else and is bashing around.
And stay there. Okay, we can sleep again. And you can see on his face that he's really cheered up by being able to howl and actually have an impact on something, but also kind of just done with the shit of this house.
The
Yep.
closet door begins to rattle violently.
So how big is the gap under the door?
About
Can
2
like
3
a
inches.
great sword, I mean like on either side of that chest, can a great sword slide under it?
Maybe if you moved the chest to the left or the right, you'd be able to have a good shot at stabbing under it.
Okay. I should be able to lift that chest easily. I learned recently that I'm strong. Stronger than I am.
Yeah, you can
supposed
also
to be.
you can lift it and move it aside if you want to. It would take longer than just sliding it to one side or the other, though.
I'm supposed to have like extra strength for lifting and pulling and sliding things, and I want to be quieter about the chest moving.
Oh, so you want to lift it to be quiet? Yeah, you can definitely do
Yeah,
that.
just lift it a bit and put it down far enough to be able to slide my
Okay.
great sword under there and just swish it around.
Well, you
like,
definitely do have the strength to be able to
Uh,
lift it. If you're
uh,
trying to do it quietly, though, roll me a stealth check on it.
ooh.
I'm also gonna step up with my glaive ready and just ready for an attack if anything comes through when the chest is moved.
All right. Well, it
If
doesn't
I-
sound like the screeching madness that it was before when Gon was moving it. But it does have a decided clunk after you put it back down again, and the rattling abruptly stops. Yes. Yes. Yes, Ollie.
Ollie produces a bag of ball bearings. Like, would these help?
I don't know. Does
Well-
anybody in the party know the spell catapult?
No, slide them under the door. Slide them under the door and have a Home Alone situation.
That was what, last week or 2 weeks ago?
It's fine. It's still fine.
I come up and I pat Ollie and I say, yeah, good luck with that, you know. Might work. And I'm gonna grant my vigilant blessing.
Alrighty.
Once
So-
the chest is moved, Ollie is gonna try to pour the ball bearings into the gap and hopefully give it a disadvantage on movement or attack rolls.
Okie dokie. So, Ollie, you go over, and how are you getting the ball bearings underneath this gap without getting too close, or are you just getting up in there and pouring them in there?
Well,
If we
I
can
get-
both fit there, Arthur can hold the door closed. In addition to the rope thingy that's kind of trying to have it closed
Yeah,
at the moment.
Arthur is holding the door shut as it rattles violently against itself, and Ollie, how are you getting those ball bearings under there?
Ollie is gonna line the ball bearings up just outside of the door and then give them a shove and hope they glide under.
Okie dokie. Just roll me a general dexterity check to see if you are good at aiming ball bearings.
The marbles come in handy.
With an expert flick of your digits, one after the other, with a thumb placed just behind them and then popping forward, you shoot ball bearing after ball bearing underneath the door. And then, Arthur, as soon as they are underneath the door, you hear a loud whud on the other side as if something has fallen. And you get down and you make a swishing, stabbing motion under the door with your longsword. Roll an attack.
Eee.
Teamwork.
Okay. And then roll a strength. Then roll a strength check for me, Arthur.
Oh shit, no.
Oh no.
Please. No, wait, check, not save.
Grabs the sword. Mine now.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
you-
I'm not giving it!
You do feel something take grasp.
It's my favorite sword!
You do.
My mother gave it to me!
You do feel something on the other side of the door take grasp of it, but
As a
the
graduation present!
the sentimental significance of the sword riles you up. All your fur poofs out, and for once, even with a ghost inside of you that wants to break down into tears, you feel a childish, pouting rage well up within you that probably isn't just thorns. And you're like, no! And all your fur poofs out and you growl softly beneath your breath. Maybe one of the first times anybody has ever heard you do anything other than whine or bark. And you yank that sword back out, and as it pops back out, you see weird greenish smears of ichor along the blade. And you hear a loud,
Ew.
strangled hissing noise from the other side of the closet door.
What
I
is
kind of
that?
hold up my sword with one hand, with the blade pointing down, and go, oh, mother's gonna kill me.
It would seem you have.
Oh, shush!
Okay, Ollie's gonna back up to this corner and ready his crossbow and have it.
Can I roll a
Oh yeah, crossbow
persuasion
gang, let's
check?
go.
Yeah, what are you trying to persuade it?
Oh, to shut up and be quiet.
That sounds more like intimidation. You can roll an intimidation check.
Okay. That's better, actually.
And by crossbow, I meant short
No,
bow.
actually, it's the same.
Okie dokie. And the rattling actually stops a little bit, and you can see a small trickle of green ichor leaking out.
It
from the door.
comments back that, oh, if unless I kill you first or something, and Arthur is like, in this growly, deep voice that you really never heard from him before. He's kind of has a surprisingly higher pitched voice compared to how he looks. He just growls at it. Oh, shush! And he goes silent.
And it does indeed shush, both in the jiggling of the door and in the snarls from beyond it.
Ah,
Ollie gives Arthur a thumbs up.
is anybody rested? We should check out that staircase, I think.
Hey, Arthur, make a quick intelligence check.
He is book smart, so intelligence should be better than wisdom.
So you realize that Gon has tied the two door handles together because the closet opens towards the interior, and the only way for you guys to get out of the room is to untie the door handles.
It's fine, I can hold the door until the others get out. Does the bedroom door open outwards?
Mm-hmm.
It probably does not lock from the outside. Does it lock? Does it look like it has a lock from the outside? Like not a deadbolt, but a keyhole, something?
You do
rather?
not see a keyhole on this side of the door.
Guys,
Yeah.
we have a minor problem. And he kind of points to the rope. And then
Yeah.
along the rope to the closet handle. And then back. And then kind of motions silently how the doors open away from each other, so we are screwed.
Well, I think we've got a minor solution. I raise my crossbow.
Yep.
If you're sure, I can also hold it closed for a while and give you a head start. If you'd like to make a break for it.
I'm just.
If we
I'm
do
ready
that,
when
likely
you are.
just chase us up the stairs and weren't this is my memory fading. Weren't we kind of like chased down the stairs, or am I mixing campaigns?
We were running down the stairs from the fire at one point, but
You guys have been running up and down stairs from and towards various things the whole
most
campaign.
things never chased us between levels.
Yeah, most things that you
Okay.
encountered, you took care of on the same level that you encountered them. I don't believe you ran away from any actual mobs. Except for
Not
that one
mobs, but
time. Except for that one time with the suit of armor, Gan did kind of run halfway down the stairs.
okay.
So
Well,
they don't tend to follow.
Well, you've never actually tried to escape one to another level before.
Well, anyways, there's another door
maybe
upstairs, and
more.
we can just. And that one locks. I do remember that one locks. Because we had to pick it.
So is that what everyone wants to do then? Is run instead of trying killing whatever this is that's already wounded?
I don't know. I'd rather not fight, but if it would make sure we can get away safely, maybe we should.
I mean, I could take a few shots at it under the door.
I didn't
Crossbows aren't
know
that
this.
fussy.
Well, do whatever you guys want to do. I just want to leave.
You start to hear that
Agreed.
scratching sound coming from the door again.
I said shush! You can see him kind of. What's the English word for it? Not
Bristle?
grimace, but show his teeth.
Snarl.
Snarl.
Snarl, thank you. Like, you realize that Arthur actually has a lot of sharp teeth.
Beautiful, beautiful, sharp teeth.
He's still holding the handle, like one hand on it, and his back to the door, kind of braced.
You can be a damn. Sorry.
So, decision?
Without saying anything, kind of more so keeping an eye on the closet door to see if this thing would even notice it. Nicholas is going to begin to cut through this rope and see if it would even realize that the door is still barred in a sense.
Well,
Yeah,
since
and-
Arthur is holding the door handle, it definitely can't tell that you've cut the rope. Because the same
Or even
pressure...
with it being held.
Right,
Yeah,
so the
the
same
rope.
pressure is being applied to the door by Arthur as it would have been with the rope on there, so it has no idea that there isn't a rope anymore. It just knows that it's being held closed.
Gonna get my, fourth of a rope back.
Yeah, we could have just untied it. at
God's
this
gonna
point.
need
Yeah.
to go
Have to cut
shopping
it.
after this. He's lost a bedroll, lost a rope.
Don't worry, I can give you a bedroll. I even have a tent somewhere. But then, we don't need anything at the moment since we are
Do I
inside
sense
the
anything?
house. Doesn't want to let us outside the house.
Now that
Sorry,
we
yes.
don't have the rope problem, do I sense anything out here?
You do not currently sense anything out there.
Alright, I'm gonna try carefully open the door and peek out.
You open the door and you peer out, and as the creature hears the door opening, Arthur, make a strength check.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I do still have my glaive ready for an attack when presented with one.
Yeah,
Alright.
Ollie with a short bow too.
Yeah, I got a
So,
crossbow.
Gon, you don't see anything out there in the foyer. It's just the gently crackling fireplace with the plush rug in front of it, the two statues, and the staircase that winds up in one direction and down in the other.
This was without notation.
So it looks perfectly normal and nothing out there at all. Arthur, with an 11 strength, you are straining to hold this door shut. It's rattling wildly. There are times when it opens inwards just like half an inch, and you catch a glimpse of what looks like deep purple eyes peering out at you, hundreds of them, big, small, large, in between. And then you manage to yank it shut again just by the skin of your teeth, but it is rattling wildly, and you have to plant your feet against the crux of the door frame just to keep it shut.
Motion to the others to hurry the fuck off outside and
All
up the
right.
stairs.
Follow me. Which way was up? I think.
Other one. Other one.
way.
Ollie's gonna motion.
Doesn't
for music.
matter.
That one looks like it was going up. Whichever.
I
Yeah.
probably won't let go until I see the last one of you disappear up the stairs.
Actually, yeah, this one does look more like it's
Yeah,
going up.
Ollie's gonna hold by and be second to last out, so that way he can shoot over Arthur's shoulder when he leaves and try to slow it down.
I was also going to suggest that I would be last out because I think I am the fastest.
Did I stutter?
Oh, okay.
Go!
Well, I mean,
Go!
Okay,
Ollie
I
would've
can
waited
be
if
the
you didn't-
fastest if need be.
well, yeah, Ollie wouldn't have waited if you didn't voice your plan, but he's being urged now, so he's just gonna go. But he does not look happy about it at all, and he's gonna keep facing the door.
Oh.
Then I'll step up there and urge Arthur to go.
Go. First.
Alright then.
Right, Arthur, I need you to make one more strength check for me.
Okay. Yeah, we're fine. And I hold the door shut until they are at least halfway up the staircase. Like, they disappear in the rounding
So-
of the staircase. Like, I can't see them anymore.
So the only person who can still see you when this happens is Nicholas, because he's been hesitantly hanging back, ready to
Oh.
dart to your rescue.
Oh.
There's a great, awful shudder to the door, and you hear a cracking noise. And the handle that you're holding onto doesn't really matter all that much anymore because the entire door is falling inwards. And Nicholas, you see Arthur disappear into blackness.
Oh, fuck!
For fuck's sakes. And Nicola starts running back towards the room.
And as you get there, standing and skidding to a stop in front of the closet, you see Arthur collapsed on the floor next to a broken door, half in, half out of a basket of clothing, with a sliced up top hat hanging off the corner of his head, and Gon's bedroll just crumpled beneath him, and nothing else in the room.
Arthur kind of blinks owlishly up at Nicholas. Looks around himself. Oh. Lost a bedroll. And he
I
kind
believe
of
that
starts
was-
to chuckle slightly hysterically and frighteningly similar to what Ollie sometimes does. Like, the house is really getting to him.
There's some really like noisy stomping on the stairs as this like crossed arms, like annoyed looking Gon comes down and is like, Nicholas, what did I just tell? Oh.
Arthur kind of holds up the bedroll. Whose
Ar-
is this?
Arthur, make a perception
hey.
check.
Oh. Perception?
Perception.
Oh
Okay,
no.
that's fine.
Yeah, right, fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, so, Gon, Arthur holds out your bedroll to you.
Ollie's just waiting on the stairs. Hey guys, is it okay?
Yeah, nothing's here.
Gon, as,
Should we?
Uh,
Gon, as you
I
take
guess I grabbed.
Yeah.
The bedroll, yeah.
As you take your bedroll back, you feel a wave of disgust as you realize it is completely covered in weird green ichor.
Mm.
Just
How
like
much
poor
ichor
Arthur's
is
sword.
Arthur covered in?
Arthur, oblivious of the goo-covered bedroll,
Well,
with his
his
free
butt
hands,
is.
he stands up and starts to dust him off, and does he notice the goo?
With a 5, you don't notice that your tail and rump is also kind of coated with smears of green ichor from where you fell on the bedroll.
Ew.
You know what? We're already covered in crap. It doesn't matter.
First order of
Need a
business after
bath.
Death House, find a bath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Problem is, the
Nicola
death house
starts going
bathroom was
upstairs.
kind of bloody. No tomato
Yeah.
soupy.
Nothing was in the closet.
I mean, something probably
Uh-huh.
was. But it might
Nothing
operate on the
anymore.
Currently in.
rules of when it's closed, it can be anything. When it's open, it's nothing.
Alright, and you guys head up the stairs.
Yeah.
I don't think I put the bedroll in my backpack because it's disgusting, but like maybe I tie it onto the side with my like 10-foot hempen rope now.
We need to get you a hempen rope. First opportunity I have for free loot, I'm going to make sure there's a hempen rope.
Thank you.
We're like heading up. I don't know which way.
Alright, you're now back on the 3rd floor. Nicholas goes straight for the attic. Everybody else following?
Yep, because we found where we need to go, right? We
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
needed to rest.
You found the spiral staircase in the attic and you were just resting so that you didn't have to deal with whatever's in the basement after having to deal with a specter.
Yep.
There's 2 of me.
Is there?
No.
I see 2 of me. I see 3 of me.
I
I
saw.
see only one of you.
I see
It
only one
happens
of
to
you.
you too.
I do see Molly the
Wait.
dolly that I never deleted though.
Yeah, we have.
Wait,
doll and-
Ollie, you see 3 of me as well?
No, but that's what was happening to me during the holiday campaign.
Yep.
You understand my pain.
But I can't move the other 2 of me, just
Then
the
they're
one of me.
ghosts. They're ghosts. You see doppelgangers of
I
yourself.
see this one of you.
Yeah. I
Oh,
can't
boy.
even select them, they're just there.
Oh dear.
Ghosts. Yeah.
Did we have to make any kind of check to get across here? Oh no, we left a rope there,
You
didn't
left
we?
a rope there. And
Yeah.
actually, as you come up the stairs, you notice that the charring that had previously been there appears to have vanished. And also, it's a fully intact hallway now.
Oh.
Oh.
All
Can
the
we check in
doors
the
are-
kids' room?
Get your rope back.
You take a peek in the children's room, and while you don't find their bodies anymore, it is a charred pile of ash. You do see what you had originally covered them in, and the dollhouse is still there.
Okay.
See? Problems fix
Um,
themselves.
Dawn.
Hmm?
How much of the remains do you need for that ritual? I kind of point at the suspiciously more flat bed cover. Covers where the children's bodies used to be.
I see. Oh, I need the corpse, yeah.
So ashes are no good.
Dun dun dun.
I think the thing is the ashes have already kind of taken care of themselves.
And yet, Arthur kind of. Well, the dumb little puppy kind of tries to feel around his own head for Thornbot.
You find Thornwald in there as the sense of overwhelming kind of fear that's still kind of dormant in the back of your head that'll flare up every time there's a stressful situation and make you feel like crying.
And yet, I still think Thornbolt is around. Do you? You? And I kind of gesture to Gon.
Yeah, Gon, you feel an overwhelming sense of annoyance. Like, of course. I mean, duh.
What, you think this is how I normally am, right? God, Arthur. Sometimes you ask the silliest questions.
It's like you don't even know me anymore.
But to be honest, we don't know each other. Oh, don't be like that.
Gon, don't be mad at me, Gon. Alright. You guys headed for the spiral staircase?
Alright, follow me. Actually do it this time.
Alrighty. And you step onto the spiral staircase and you start walking down. It is very dark here. Anybody who does not already have dark vision will need something to light the way. Does anybody not have dark vision? Tieflings have dark vision. Arthur has dark vision. Tabaxis definitely have dark vision. And Gon has dark vision because shadows.
I have dark vision and blind vision and the ability to give other people dark vision. I am extra dark
We
vision.
see everything.
You are the darkness. I am the night. I am Ganman. Alrighty. So let me introduce you to the basement, which you find yourself in after traversing
there we go.
the staircase.
I'm first.
Yes, you're first.
Okay.
I think this is about how it went.
Oh my god, that's tiny. Sorry. Okay.
Alright, you start going down the staircase, and about midway down, everybody needs to make a perception check for me.
Alright.
Arthur's kind of touching his hand to the walls as they are going down. Trying to be aware of any secret doors or bumps or maybe like torch holders or stuff like that.
Eyeballs.
Also keeping his balance better in the dark.
Alright, Ollie and Nicholas, I'm gonna need perception checks for you. Oh, Nick, do you need me to do yours? I keep forgetting that you might actually be at work in a truck.
He's muted at the moment.
I'm going to assume that he said be right back. Okie dokie, I'm gonna roll his perception check for him.
I'm back.
Oh, okay, roll a perception check.
Back.
Perception check? Okay,
Perception
whoa.
check.
I see nothing.
You're gonna...
There's 4 of me now.
God damn it, there's not 4, there's 1.
There's 4 of me. Perception.
This is the actual one.
Mm-hmm.
Did it roll?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of 10s.
There's a lot of 10s. Alrighty. So, the
There's
only
4 of
one of
me.
you guys that actually hear this, probably with your keen senses and your mounting paranoia thanks to Thorn, is Arthur.
By the way, I have advantage on wisdom checks. So.
This is a perception one, not
Perception, yeah.
Okay.
Wisdom-based checks.
Oh,
perception.
wisdom-based checks. Well, you rolled an
Or
18
hearing
as
and
your
smell.
first number anyway, so you would have
Yeah,
gotten
yeah.
that one regardless. So wonderful. So your ear twitches slightly, and then you hear it. There's just a weird conglomeration of multiple voices just muttering and mumbling, and you're not really sure where it's coming from. But it sends chills down your spine, and you can't understand or make out what they're saying. They're just loud enough to be heard, but so low that they are completely unintelligible to your ears.
Kind of whisper shout at the others. Wait! Can you hear that? What's that?
No?
What am I supposed to be hearing?
Don't hear anything.
Kind of try to look around and locate the noise.
You don't seem to see a source for it.
Do I get a direction? Or is it
Hello.
inside my head or kind of everywhere?
It sounds like it's in the air around you, not inside your head. It sounds like it's coming from somewhere below.
Ah, good. I think I should take point, and I think there's something down there.
Is there something wrong with me taking point? You don't think I'm doing a good enough job, maybe?
And you can see his Arthur's ears kind of flatten and his tail kind of tucks between his legs, and he's like, "No, but I'm
Annoyed
and don't
with
want to
this.
get you
Nicholas
hurt."
stepped forward,
And
growing
it's like,
impatient.
Oh,
No,
everyone's a
wait.
critic.
As he
Fine,
walks
you know what,
on
if
top
you're
of
so-
Ollie.
Yeah, if you're so good at this, then I can be in the back, and if anything happens, it can be your fault. How about that?
And I get
Guys,
okay.
just ignoring Gon at this point. Steps around the
That's fair.
corner and looks down
This could
hallways.
go over real well for you later, I'm sure.
Ollie keeping towards the back, just whimpers and guys, please don't fight. This is not the place for us to start turning on each other. Please, just trust me.
As you reach the bottom of the staircase, you find a small alcove leading towards it that spills out into a long, dark tunnel with openings on either side of its very narrow surface. The stones beneath your feet are old and worn with time and moisture. The dark walls covered in a patina of molds and mosses in certain areas where water trickles down from above. You feel a sort of mustiness to the air, and the faint scent of rot hits your nose as you come down here, almost as if you were in sort of a subterranean swamp. The floor beneath you is slightly damp, but not sopping wet.
Can I locate which direction the sounds came from?
The sounds sound like they're coming from all around, echoing down this tunnel. And here down at the very bottom, Gon with a 13, you'd start to pick up on what Arthur had heard as well.
Left.
Being on guard and kind of looking back.
Left.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Arthur,
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I can, sorry. Gon was just
okay.
being a brat again.
Gon was being a brat.
Okay, no, I couldn't tell if am I muted? or
sorry, we
something?
are
Okay.
over. We are RPing over.
I
you,
wasn't
like,
sure. I
in
wasn't
character,
sure.
ignoring Nicholas. Sorry.
Which is fine. But yeah, just being on guard, Nicholas. Speaking of which, you said you've been down here. Looking back at Ollie.
Ollie gives a solemn nod and just yeah, been a long time, but it feels like it hasn't been. Guess yeah.
Regarding Rose and Thorn, Do we? I know things from another session. I don't know what we know in this session.
We don't know anything this session.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just
know
making
that-
sure.
You know that their bones accidentally got burned up by a fire that somebody set upstairs.
Yeah, who knows who that could have been.
And that's the only thing you know about Rose and Thorn, other than the fact that they are trapped in this house and they're currently riding in Arthur and Gon, and the destruction of their bones does not seem to have released them from this mortar coil.
Too bad cremation wasn't an option. Or an acceptable option.
It is too bad. That's okay. You've adopted ghost children now. You just have to be responsible parents.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
What?
Maybe your shield.
Oh, okay. I go behind and like I go to grab Arthur's tail and then see it's covered in guts and I'm just like, ooh. And I instead just like put a finger in the middle of his back and just start poking like, all right, forward.
Keep moving.
Okay.
Okay, one more. Forward.
Can I make
Okay,
can I
stop.
Can you make a what, Ollie?
Can I make some sort of check to know where the thing is? You know the thing. You know the thing that Ollie's probably thinking about,
Yeah,
right?
I know the thing. Go ahead and
The
make a
Thing
wisdom
from
check.
the movie, The Thing.
Go ahead and make a wisdom check.
Wait, what?
Wisdom check, Ollie.
Wisdom check. It's my lowest one.
Yeah, so you know that it was on a floor beneath where you are right now. You remember that there was more than one level to the basement. There were several points at which there were stairs leading down, and you know that when you went down one of them, it led to the thing that you were thinking of. But you're not really sure where that staircase is because it's been, more than 100 years since you've been down here.
Yeah, that's fair. Ollie just has anxiety now. It's fine. He's gonna follow.
All right. And what you guys see here as you come down this particular hallway are two large stone doors, both of which are cracked open slightly. Nicholas, the one where you are actually seems to have some writing on it, whereas the one closer to Gon and Arthur appears to be blank.
And what does this one say?
Go ahead and roll me a perception check to see if you can read the writing on it. Because it is quite worn. No, Nicholas, you can't really make out what the letters had once formed. It seems that time, water, and the general pockmarking of the stone have worn down the name that was once upon it.
There's something written here, but I can't determine what it is.
Let me have a look then. Kind of glance back at Gon. Is it okay for me to? Okay.
Yep, go on. Yep, you have my permission.
Do
Okay,
I see a little bit more?
with a 12, because the DC was 10, with a 12, you can make out that it appears to be a name. It says Walter Durst.
Ooh.
And when you read the word Walter, you feel inside of you Thorn give a little panicked jolt because he recognizes that name, and you know instantly that this crypt has the name of your baby brother on it.
Aw.
Oh. This is and you can see he's kind of struggling not to cry and just like not to break down and he says it says Walter.
And Gon, when you hear that name, you feel the same thing and you know.
I think it's It's oh dear.
Well, who left the door open? That's just disrespectful.
And Arthur kind of looks baffled at Gon. But it's Walter's.
Well, yeah, how's Walter gonna sleep with the door open? I just feel like they should have been shown more respect.
I would peek inside. Is anything in there?
You peer inside and you have a look, and actually, it appears to be completely empty. No coffin,
Ooh.
no body, no nothing. Walter Durst is not within.
Well, that would
that's-
explain why this is open.
Yeah, that's extra disrespectful because then where are the remains?
Arthur warily glances at the other door. Should
I'll
I
have a
check
look.
that one too?
I'm already here.
Gone, when you peer at this one, there's no name written upon the door, and it is empty when you look inside of it.
Okay. That's good then, right? That's good.
That's fine, yeah.
Perhaps this
Let's check out the other
Walter never had a chance to be interred here, such as the two children inside of you.
There
Oh,
was a
nobody.
baby.
Oh,
There was a baby
Yeah.
crying upstairs.
Yeah,
Ollie
he
mentioned
was
with the-
kind of implied to be alive still when the children got locked in their room, and I'm not sure why there is a crypt dedicated to him if he's not dead.
Well,
Arthur
maybe,
kind of steps out and looks back at
maybe
Gon
he-
for directions.
maybe he managed to get out of the house. Who knows? But we should probably keep going.
okay.
Would Ollie have some sort of knowledge of which way to go since he has been here before? I mean, he knows where the thing is now.
He was here
kind
once
of.
before, but he was only down here once before, and it's the day
Yeah.
he died. He's not been in the basement since then, and that was more than 100 years ago.
Yeah.
After everything he's been through in this house, he doesn't really have a sense of where things might be, and he's also aware that the house has the ability to change. Just because nothing has physically
Yeah.
changed since these guys came here and the house has kind of reset into the pattern that he semi-remembered, doesn't mean that it can't.
Right. For Ollie looks around like he's trying to remember, but he appears somewhat confused. Just, alright.
This way, then?
way? Sure.
Arthur is asking Gon, like,
Mm-hmm. Okay, forward.
picking up, picking up his
Yep.
position again.
You see a small series of stairs leading downwards.
Don't let this get to your head, but you're doing a pretty good job right now. You're like an okay job.
He still starts to wag.
Let me stand back from that a little bit. Splatter radius.
Hold on, let me just finish revealing things so you're going to see and read the description of this
Okay.
room for you. Okie dokie. Let's see, that's 24, okay. Sorry, there's a lot of rooms in this basement. Alright,
all good.
so you see a very old wooden table with a lot of chairs surrounding it, about 4 in total. And the walls here are a little bit less damp than the portion of the passage you were just in. It looks like it's a little bit more stymied against the wet in this particular area. You see a couple of pillars to the south in this room and several other openings that may denote other rooms or passages. The table has only a cracked stone pitcher on it, and a series of cups that some of which are overturned on their side or strewn about the place, and a few plates there with items on them that have long since moldered away.
Arthur cautiously steps inside,
Yep, keep going, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
looking around. Can I hear anything?
You've been able to hear that whispering the whole entire time that you've been here, but it's become
Beyond that.
Yeah, it has become no louder than it was before in any direction that you've gone thus far, and it also has not become any more intelligible. You have not heard anything else, though. No movements, occasionally the steady drip of water from above, but other than that, not so much.
Arthur points around.
Oh, at the table.
Which doorway should we take?
I think this one first.
Alright, Gon, you peer into this doorway and you discover a very moldy looking old bed.
Oh. Well, that's disappointing. Let's keep going.
And down here to the south, as you peer in here, Arthur, you discover another bed that looks as though it's seen better days. The mattress has decayed away completely, leaving nothing but the cracked pallet beneath. And Gon, as you peer into this doorway, you see another slightly better bed. It looks a lot drier than the others. These sheets have survived the time.
At least there's that. Hey, actually.
And
How good it is. I have a nasty old bedroll I could swap.
I would say that it's about even with this, because even though this blanket has fared the weathering a lot better than some of the other blankets that you've seen on these pallets, it is still slightly damp and it does smell of mold. I think your bed rail would probably be okay with a good wash, but this one is always going to keep that scent.
Is there something over here? What is this?
That's a wall. Sorry.
Okay.
Reveal the wall a little
I
bit
guess
more.
it's just slightly cut off, yeah.
Yeah, wall. There you go.
This way then?
Looks like
Well,
it's about
where
the
else
only
would you
place
go?
left to go, unless we go back and go down the other hall.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Are you talking back?
Sorry.
I love Sassy Gun.
Oh, so good. Alright, go ahead and make perception checks for me, guys.
Yeah.
Donkey.
Arthur, as you take a step down this stairway, though you haven't really been hearing anything else of prominence before, you now hear a steady trickling and sloshing of water that seems to be a lot more defined than you normally hear it. It sounds louder over here where you are right now. And Gon, who's only a few steps behind him, you also hear the sloshing of the water. And last but not least, Nicholas, your ear pricks up and you can hear a slight change to the atmosphere and a little bit of a steadier trickling of water as well.
Can you hear that?
Ollie, this thing that you've been talking about, how would you describe it? How would you
It's big and you don't realize what you're looking at until it's too late. It's everywhere.
Does it make
Good
a
to know.
sound?
Arthur starts to make his way downstairs.
Alright, Arthur, as you make your way down the stairs, let me just
Oh, look at
reveal
you
this area for you.
Just don't touch it.
Hold on, let me read the description to this room. So, as you come down the stairs and you peer around the corner of the hallway, you see several large pillars arranged in a manner that holds up the well carved roof. The area in here is kind of hung with a bit of a mist itself, not the one that you have seen outside, but just a general cool mist that kind of rests about an inch or so above the ground as you come down the staircase and kind of glides in between the pillars, curling around it and lapping at the feet. And it seems to be spilling from a well at the very center of this room. Though this place is countless centuries old, the well seems to be in very good repair, with 2 stone steps leading up to it from any side that you'd look upon it at, and a wooden trestle hanging over it, with a rope hanging down into darkness beneath it. Soft, cooling spurs of mist pour over the edge in small, dribbling little rivers.
Okay.
Ollie's gonna come to the mouth of the room, but he's not gonna go any further than that, and he just shakes his head. I can't. I'm sorry.
Arthur kind of
Mm.
pauses.
Yeah, stop a moment.
But there's only one way out of this hellhole.
Ollie, you have us with you now. Going to be fine. Kind of takes both his shoulders and looks into his eyes. It's going to be fine, I promise.
It's not something you could promise here.
And still, I promise it. Like I promised Thorn and Rose that we'll help them. It's going to
And-
be fine.
You see,
And you can see that he
BRB
really
real
believes his own words.
yeah, but as you're staring at Ollie and earnestly consoling him, you see a look of realization grow on his expression, and then it just fades into pure fear. And he just
What is it?
I don't
We?
think we should bring the kids down there. And Ollie
And I
just
look back
swallows
at
hard.
Gon. I mean, he has a point.
And then Ollie lifts his arms and he grabs Arthur by the shoulders and he stares at Arthur. And in his earnest fashion, he says, "We cannot bring the children down there."
The room has repaired itself, although it's not the nicest place to go back to.
Gun and Arthur both, you get a feeling, well, from Gun, you get a feeling of stubborn annoyance. She clearly does not want to be left behind. Arthur, you get a pang of absolute terror. He doesn't want to be left alone, especially not after they found that specter upstairs.
Arthur kind of mentally pets Thorn and mentally whispers to him, "You are not going to be left alone. We'll figure something out and keep you safe."
Look, all I know is
Where are my
I-
spells?
all I know is I can't go down there. And even if I were to find a way to manage to do so, I cannot let you bring those kids down there. Can we at least check the other path and see if there's any way we can help them find rest before? Because if they go down there, and you see Ollie just swallows, and his lips move, but his voice doesn't. He just can't bring himself to say it.
I was planning on looking around anyway, so we can at least take stock of this area before we make any big decisions, like going back.
And Ollie, you do know that this is not, just a quick glance over their heads, this is not the room that the thing you dread is in. Although you don't remember it being this misty the last time you were in the room with the well.
Yeah, he just has the knowledge that it's below, and he does not want to go down that well. And that's all he knows. He's just working off pure instinct and fear at this point. He doesn't, yeah. He doesn't remember shit. He's just scared. He knows down bad, down, you don't go up. Yeah.
Do you need to hold my hand?
No. Just, we need to make sure that the kids are alright before we go. They can't go.
Is it possible that the kids have their own crypts?
I don't know. Maybe. But
I think we should explore and just not take any more stairs down. How about that? It might give us some clues what to do.
yeah. Down's bad.
Alright, no down.
Okay. And after decidedly starts moving. You can, if you look really carefully, you can see his legs are a little bit shaky. That putting on a strong and brave face, and even Thorn doesn't seem to be influencing that enough at the moment.
So, Gon, you're looking in the northern room, and Arthur, you're looking towards the south and right-hand side?
Yes,
Okay.
this way.
Alrighty, let me reveal Gon's room first.
Persuaded that they're not gonna dive headfirst into the well, Ollie finally steps into the room, but he's not going near that thing.
And, Ollie, roll me a perception check really quick.
I sure will! Perception.
Alright. So, you notice when Nicholas and Gon and Arthur stride through the mist, as one would expect of anything, it kind of swirls and pools around their legs, affected by their physical movement. When you step into it, it's as if you're not even there. You make no disturbance in the mist.
Oh, that's nice.
Ollie does notice this, and he doesn't say a word. He just kind of stares at his feet for a couple steps, and then he kind of swallows hard, and his hands are clutching at the front of his vest, and his knuckles are pale, and he's just walking and keeping to the edge of the room quietly.
Alright, Gon. So you peer into this upper room here, and you can see a bed splattered with some kind of black ichor, with the sheets and mattress rent apart in what looks like must have once been a flurry of motions. There's a thin layer of damp and mildew over everything, and you do see on the far wall up here a rather large chest. The metal looks corroded and pockmarked and quite rusty in some places. There is a lock upon it, but it looks half decayed. And Arthur, as you come and peer down this area, you see, what the fuck is that?
Just so you know, they just said BRB.
Oh, okay. Well, when he gets back, I'll tell him what he sees.
Oh.
I don't know what the fuck that is, though, so I'm getting rid of it.
It's a mystery.
It is.
While they are be right back, I will also be right back to get
Okay.
some more Chucky milk.
How about we take like a 5-minute break, everybody use the bathroom and grab a snack. We've only got about an hour or so left of gameplay. I'll see y'all back in 5 minutes at 7 p.m.
Okay.
3 seconds. Woo.
I've been stuck waiting for this trailer this entire game so far.
You've been doing the what now?
I've been sitting in my truck waiting to get a loaded trailer assigned to me
Wow.
since before the game started.
Really? Wow.
Yep. That's why I've been so attentive on the phone.
I kind of figured it must be something like that.
But, which means I have no food, and I was foolish enough to not bring a lunch because I thought I'd be home by now.
Well, if they don't
I
have
thought
a
I just-
trailer for you, maybe you should ask if you can go home.
No, they're loading it. They just haven't finished loading it. And I'm also like 2 hours away from my home base before I could even leave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I am back and I have topped off on my chocolate milk.
Delicious,
Oh.
delicious chocolate milk.
It gives
Chalky
me the dopamine
milk.
It gives me the
The what?
dopamine I need to continue.
Alright, so we
I'm
have...
mostly back too.
Yay!
But now I want chocolate milk as well. So.
Well, you've got until 3 minutes from now to get it. Go get it.
Chalky milk.
Chucky
It
milk.
is time for
Oh.
chalky milk.
I can multitask.
Chucky milk. Do, 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 do. I like chocolate milk.
I like trains.
I like turtles.
I like
I
dinosaurs.
like chocolate milk.
So one thing I want to try, I'm not sure how much of that Thorn would allow or be okay with.
Well, let's wait until Nano gets back because we took a little break.
I realized.
Yeah. Got 2 minutes.
I can listen. I'm just eating a sandwich.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay then.
We're all back then. Everybody ready?
Uh-huh.
So I want to use my divine
Yeah.
sense and brace myself before I do. Just from previous experiences.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so go ahead and divine sense and then do a constitution saving throw. With advantage because Thorn being there is actually kind of shielding you from a lot of it. It actually kind of helps having a buffer.
It's nice. Oh, 18.
Okay. So there is a large sense of overwhelming nausea that hits you as you open up your senses. Down here is
Kind of
seeped
Brace
in,
against the wall.
yeah, down here is seeped in evil. You clutch the wall and you manage to keep your feet. mostly because inside of you is ringing a small sense of not pain, but of goodness and light, because
Oh,
above all things, Thorn is an innocent soul, and he has not done anything wrong. And
he's so precious.
his physical presence is actually acting as a buffer, keeping you from taking as much harm to yourself as you open yourself up to this, and it's helping you kind of sort through your feelings a little bit better. You feel an even stronger pull of evil somewhere beneath your feet, although you're not quite sure what it is, other than undead.
Can I tell how far below it
Very
is?
far below.
Okay. Um, can I tell a sort of direction compared to us or just down?
Down. It feels like it's humming from beneath your feet. Technically,
Like
the
straight
divine,
down?
yeah, technically the divine sense doesn't actually work if they've got cover, and the floor is definitely cover.
Okay.
So you can't really discern a direction of what is beneath you. The fact that you can feel anything at all through solid stone, though, is kind of worrying.
Okay. I say and kind of swallow hard. So down is definitely bad, but it feels um, it feels like it's very far down, although I really shouldn't be able to tell that from excuse me. And I kind of lay my forehead against the cool stone, trying to gather myself. This is fine, this is fine. Always believe Ollie. He really knows. He's really not just afraid. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
So, okay, down is bad, which we had already established, so thank you for your very useful contribution. Hey, Ollie, come over here a sec.
I don't want to, but okay.
But you'll do it, because I'm telling you to do it.
Gon tugs Ollie's leash.
I'll do it because you're a friend and making your request, and also that's.
Oh, well, that's quite nice, thank you.
May-
I would
Yeah.
just wanted you to have Actually, I'm touched by that. Thank you for calling me your friend. I just wanted you to have a sort of look over there. There's a chest with a lock on it. You're the sort of expert in that area. What do you make of that?
Check for blood.
It's.
Seriously, check for blood stains. Let's not open anything again.
Yeah, Ollie's gonna. Where's the chest? It's that back. Okay. Ollie's gonna walk over to the chest carefully and, kind of inspect it, see if it's moved or otherwise been disturbed recently. Nope, it's
doesn't-
chest.
I was gonna ask, could I give guidance for that?
You can give guidance for that.
It might not help, but you
It's
get a
gonna
D4.
help.
Go ahead and roll your d4, Ollie.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's an 11.
that's all right. Yeah.
The chest looks very old, very worn down with time and wetness. A couple of the boards are actually so moldy you think you might be able to break them off with your hands. The metal pieces are rusted and corroded, some of them with a patina of green, some of them just bright copper with rust. The lock looks like it probably can't be picked because it's mostly crumpled in upon itself and is completely rusted over, but you can't imagine that it would stand up to a good kick or so.
Yeah. Okay. So. I'm sorry. My brain just erased everything you just said as I was formulating a sentence. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. You're terrified along with Ollie. Very
No
old
lockpick.
chest. Look, yeah, you don't have a lockpick anymore. Somebody broke it in a lock. Looks at Nicholas.
Right.
But the chest does look like it's not exactly fully intact anyway. You could probably pry it open quite easily if you felt like it.
Sure. Ollie's gonna pull out his crowbar and try to pry it open the fun way.
Alrighty, so you go ahead and just make me a strength check with advantage because this chest is pretty fucking battered.
Nice.
Excellent. And there's a grating, screeching groan as the metal buckles and the lock literally explodes apart, and the lid clunks into the wall behind it as you pry it open. And inside you find a couple of pairs of black robes that look like they have been eaten through by moths. In fact, a couple escape the chest as you open it. And a book that is completely moldered. It's a home for lichen and fungi that are growing that give off an iridescent green kind of glow to it. And there seems to be a small pouch made of some indescript kind of leather.
Yeah.
I never
Ollie's...
find anything cool.
I mean, you haven't checked the pouch yet.
Ollie's gonna, I guess, carefully remove anything that looks like it's still worth recovering and set it out on the floor so
Basically,
you don't gotta
just
reach
the
in.
pouch. Yeah.
Yeah. So, takes out the pouch.
It jingles.
And he's gonna hand it to Gon since Gon found the chest and he's like, okay, here you go.
Okay.
And
Oh,
you receive
yeah.
a jingly pouch. Can you both roll perception checks for me really quick?
Sure.
Also, when you have time, I'm also like looking over in this area. I don't know if I can ping.
Oh, I think I see where you're looking.
Just directly down from me and to my left.
Left or straight down from you?
Down, and if I'm not seeing much, over here to the left side of the map as well.
Okay, let me finish up with these guys. Perception. Okay, so Ollie, you notice it just as you're handing it to Gon. Gon, you have no idea. But Ollie, you're kind of weirded out by the feel of the leather of this bag. And you can't quite place why until you realize it feels exactly like human flesh. You just handed Gon a bag, presumably full of money from the Clinkety Clink, that is made of human flesh. In fact, you see an ear on one side of it.
Yeah, Ollie's gonna immediately try to yank it back out of Gon's hands and throw it against the wall. Don't touch that!
What? You handed it to me.
It was a mistake!
Does he yank it back out, or did you stop him?
I mean, I would try to. Yeah, no. Well, actually, no. I think I would let it because
Too surprised.
a little paranoia is okay down here.
Alright, as you throw it against the wall, it opens, spilling out about 11 gold pieces and 60 silver pieces as you throw it against the wall and it upends.
Wow.
And you see Ollie just scrubbing his hands on his pants and doing that whole body squirm wriggle.
And we're going to pan away from this moment for a moment to look at the other two people in the room. First up, we have Arthur, who peered down the hallway. You did see two sets of stairs down there, both of which were actually leading up instead of down, so that was a good sign. And then while these guys are exploring the other rooms, you wandered over to the well to peer into it. You can see the swirling mists kind of exuding from the well itself, kind of curling over the ground, and as you look down into it, you can go ahead and roll me a perception check. This is all happening in tandem with what's happening up top, by the way. Alrighty. You actually think with your dark vision that you might be able to discern the slight glint of water that is at the bottom of this well. It's an inky black, and it seems, instead of being still, to be in constant burbling motion.
Thanks, I
Does
hate
it
it.
look? Is
So-
there a rope leading down, like the?
Yes. There is a rope leading from the wooden trestle above that leads down and to the water, disappearing beneath it. Presumably, there may be a bucket at the other end if it's like normal wells. If it's not like normal wells, though, well, who knows?
Can I
Uh-huh.
pull up the rope?
Okay.
I just start pulling it up.
Are you gonna use the crank to do it or your bare hands?
Uh, with zero wisdom and looking at the crank, just like, nah, it's better to stay quiet and with hands, bare hands.
Alright, so you start pulling the rope up, end over end, time after time. You hear Ollie yell something in the room above your head while you're doing this, and Gon yell back. And you pull it up, and eventually your paws start to hit some slimy, cool, algae-smelling goop from the portion of the rope that's been in the water. And it smells of vegetative decay and other things. And you keep pulling, and the rope keeps coming. You've got a large spool of it behind you in the mist over here. And then all of a sudden, you're unable to pull anymore. It feels like the rope might be caught on something at the bottom of the well.
Can I try to wiggle it free?
Go ahead and make me a strength check.
Oops, that's a save. Sorry. Check.
Okay.
Always clicked the wrong one.
You pull and you tug and you just wiggle it
Never
from
mind.
side to side. And you think you might have gotten it because you started to feel a little bit of a give. And then you feel like a great weight pulling back on you. And you kind of almost sprawl over half of the well, just barely maintaining both your grip and your ability to stay on the upside of the well, as you feel something large and powerful pulling at the rope between your hands. The water
And I
beneath you thrashes.
aggressively pull back.
Go ahead and roll me one more strength check.
Like a tug of war with the well. Well.
Okie dokie. So, you start having a tug of war with the well. The water is splashing and splashing beneath you, echoing up the sides. You can't see what it is you're fighting with. There's no hands or fins or anything breaking the surface of the water until just before you think you're about to go over, you see a large hand, the entirety of it, basically encompassing the width of the well, come up from it, the bulbous green skin pockmarked in places where water is just oozing from the decayed flesh. And you can see places where amphibious life and fish may have been eating through it to reveal bones as it is raised upwards out of the water momentarily. And then it releases, darting back into the water, and the bucket pops free and smacks you in the jaw as you fall back down the stairs.
Oh.
And we're going to cut over to Nicholas, who's been trying to explore this bottom room over here. Nicholas, as you step over here while all of this is going on and such not, you see a room similar to the one that Gon and Ollie are exploring, except it is neatly preserved. The chest here looks almost brand new. It's got silver trimmings and brass sort of fittings along it that make it look a lot sturdier than the chest that they were at. It's made of a polished wood that seems to have been waxed over to keep off the wet, and it has a much stronger looking lock upon it. Next to it is a bed that has green trimmings to it, neatly made, pillow fluffed. It does have a fine layer of dust over it with the slightest hint of wetness, but it is not yet moldering.
Is there any kind of check that I can make to see if this looks suspicious? That it looks almost completely brand new and well kept.
You don't need to roll a check to know that. Compared to the rest of this place, this does look like it has not seen as much time in this place as the rest of the things have. It is suspiciously well preserved. It's definitely old, but not as old as the rest of it.
Is there any, I don't know, I feel like this room is trapped, or something's invisible, or metagaming. I am almost certain that bed or a chest is a mimic,
I mean,
but
anything's
I
possible.
don't know if, Nicholas is aware of that, or
Well,
if know of mimics.
well, you
Can
guys
be
definitely.
paranoid and poke at things.
I mean, everybody knows about mimics. That's like not.
Okay.
That's not.
I don't know how common they are, so.
They're not very common, but everybody has heard a tale or two about a mimic. The thing that you know about mimics, though, as does everybody else, that there's literally no checks that you can do that can determine if something is a mimic, short of stabbing the fucking thing itself. Because it is completely undiscernible from any regular object.
That has gone so well for us before.
So even if anything in there is a mimic, you'll never know until it's too late. But that's true of every single room here. I mean, it could look like the old grody chest up top that Gon and Ollie are poking at. It could have looked like that too, and then just turned terrible. You never know.
True. I would just call Gon or even Arthur's attention. It was like, I got a very suspicious room over here.
And you turn around
Possibly magical in nature.
to see Ollie on the floor with a bucket on his head.
You mean Arthur?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Arthur on the floor with a bucket on his head, and
I was
across
gonna
the
say,
way, Ollie and Gan in a staring match as Ollie breathes heavily and wipes his hands on his pants over and over and over again.
Yeah,
found the green hand.
One moment.
And Arthur kind of tries to pluck the bucket off his head. Get to
Congratulations.
his feet again.
Your head is now also green, with algae instead of it. Cool.
He needs a puppy bath.
You just smell like a swamp, it's fine.
I like how somehow, without even
He was raised by
trying,
a
Nicholas
cat.
has stayed perfectly clean throughout this. Without
Yeah.
trying.
Nicholas is a straight up cat.
There was that one time that you got dirty, and then you cleaned yourself.
No one saw that.
Everyone saw that.
But like, as a typical dog, a dog's already covered in slime and mud and
Yeah.
dirt.
But as an untypical dog, since he was raised by a cat, he's like, oh, this is bad. I need a bath. I should bathe. Let's get out of here so I can have a bath.
Arthur considers jumping down the well to get a bath, regardless of hands.
Regardless of hands, but not regardless of the algae he already has all over his head.
Yeah.
Not that dumb.
Alright, what y'all doing?
So, yeah, okay, you just handed me a thing, and then freaked out and threw it against the wall. What part of it is bad, and what part of it is okay? Is the money okay? Can I touch the money? I'd like to touch the money if I can.
Gan just makes these wiggly fingers with his hands as he stands over the money waiting to touch it.
Money.
Count the money, not count the money.
I think that was directed at you, Ollie.
Yay, did the thing again. Ollie's gonna point at the ear on the bag and say bad. And then he's gonna point at the money and say, probably not people.
Right, yeah. That's fairly disgusting. Yeah. Do I want
course you
people
do.
bag money? Do I want it?
People bag money.
I mean, you can leave the people bag and just take the money.
Yeah, do I want... It has been touching the people bag.
Yeah, but
What
it's
is a
money.
leather bag aside from a bag made from some living creature's skin?
Yeah,
it's
but
a
usually...
people bag.
Does Nick say this aloud?
No, probably because I'm not aware that you have a
Ollie,
human
have you heard
bag.
of shamisen?
Because
All
Ollie
right,
was about to judge him heavily.
Tell you what, we'll take the money, and it can go in the list of things that need to be washed before being used.
That's a very extensive list.
Yeah, I take my nasty damn bedroll and I roll the money up in it.
Ugh.
So we don't forget this is the gross money.
Next time you go to lay in your bedroll, you unroll it and there's just money everywhere. Oh yeah, thanks, past me. Wow.
So that's 11 gold and 60 silver. 11 gold and 60
Nice.
silver. And you leave the pouch made of human skin and its ear behind. Alright, Nicholas and Arthur, what are you guys doing at the bottom of the suspiciously clean looking room?
I'm asking if there's like any way to tell if this is there's some magical influence here.
You can do an arcana check if you want.
I could, and I can probably fail it too.
No, it's fine.
So, Arthur, there is an air of necrotic magic that just hangs over everything in this place. Like, no two ways around it, but it doesn't seem to be concentrated here in the room that you're in. And you don't feel any other magical presence in that room.
Doesn't
Besides-
feel worse than the rest of the place. Arthur says, kind of his hands crossed. Sometimes he's like brings the back of his hand over his brows to wipe away some dripping algae, and just looking like all businesslike, considering the room.
Ollie approaches and just stares at Arthur and then points, and then he's just like, did you
Yeah, there's a hand. And you can see Arthur, he looks like he's completely fine and just annoyed a little bit. But his tail is between his legs and he's very still.
Ollie
There's
dropped
a
his
hand
thing?
and water. And it's fine. And yeah.
Ollie dropped
the room
his
looks
hand
okay.
in his finger, and he's now very quiet and also not blue anymore. He's ghost white.
I mean, I won the tug of war. And you can see he's still a little bit wag. Like he's irrationally pleased with himself.
There's a loud splashing noise from the well behind you.
Now he's
Oh
pale
my
as
lord.
well, except you can't tell with him.
Ollie just jumps and then he ducks into this hallway.
Does Nicholas get anything from that Arcana roll, or
I mean, just what I said to Arthur. There's a thin layer of necrotic energy over everything in this entire place, but there's no higher concentration of magic in this room than there is in any other, and there's no additional signs of magic in that room.
okay? I'm gonna step up to here, meaning to be 5 feet away from the chest, not right next to it,
Okay.
but it's like covering over 4 squares there.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like put my glaive against it and start like pushing into the chest with gradually increasing pressure.
Wait! Have you checked for blood?
There is no blood.
Good.
1 second. 1 quick second.
All right. Well, he's doing that thing over there. Let's go back to Gon for a second because he's heading up to this room over here. Gon, you look into this room and you can see a bed that is missing its pillow. It looks kind of threadbare. There's patches of black mold over it, especially concentrating along the wall that it's touching, where the wetness can really seep in. And you see another chest, not quite as bad off as the first one you saw, but it is a secondary chest that you see over here in the corner as you peer around it. Other than that, the room appears to be pretty empty. This one does not have a lock on it. The lock instead is sitting on the floor next to it, and the lid is half open. The wood is slightly moldery, but not completely ready to break apart like the other one.
Okay, I'll have a quick peek.
Alright, you lift up the lid the rest of the way, and you peer inside, and you can see some robes, much like the ones you saw in the other one. These are in slightly better condition, but they still exude an air of mildew and mold that you probably wrinkle your nose at, because it doesn't exactly smell all that pleasant. On top of them, though, you do find what looks like a small piece of velvety black cloth that is wrapped around something lumpy and hard.
Alright, velvety cloth. Velvet isn't skin, I hope.
Nope, it is not skin.
I'll try and, like, grab the corner of it and shake it to try and dump the item out.
Alright, you take a corner of the black cloth and you just lift it and you give a little shake, and it's just wrapped loosely around these 3 items, which slide out and pitter-patter one by one onto the robes that were beneath of it. And you see shiny green winking at you as 3 moss agate about the size of your closed fist are now lying on top of the moldering robes.
And I am back.
Welcome back.
I don't see a reason not to take those. They've not been touching anything disgusting, so they can go into the proper money pouch.
Alright, and now you have 3 moss agates, each worth 100 gold, 10 gold each. And you have 3 of those. 3 moss agates worth 10 gold each.
Nice.
Alright, and we're panning back over to Nicholas, who was about to poke a chest.
Yes. So I was
Arthur
like,
made
put
sure
my
that
glaive
he-
up against it.
And Arthur
sorry.
was
Check
shouting.
for blood.
Yeah, he shouted, "Wait, check for blood," but there is no blood.
Alright, and then as I mentioned, I just put the blade of the glaive against the chest, and I just start slowly increasing the pressure against the chest, see if there's like any reaction, or
Make an attack
if
roll
it's
against the chest.
fleshy instead of.
Go ahead and make an attack roll against the chest. Because if you're trying to stab it, that is still an attack. Even if
It's a
it's...
very, very gentle stab.
Okay, we'll roll for your gentle stab. So you try to press into it, exuding a little bit of a minimum pressure. With a 12, though, and the fact that this wood is a lot newer than the other chests and sturdy and varnished, you only break past maybe the first half of an inch of the wood before you feel the pressure of it too much for you to be able to continue. This is a well-built box. You are not able to stab into it anymore with the pressure that you just exuded. You would have to try much, much harder. But it also doesn't feel like flesh or sticky, and there's no reaction from the box.
The kind of
Hooray!
sighs and goes over. Let me help. Checks for blood. Not seeing any.
No blood.
He steps.
And then I would like to
No.
see if it's even
sturdy
locked.
chest.
So I did describe that there was a rather hefty looking lock upon it. It is a padlock,
Okay.
though, so it is separate of the box itself.
Alright, and then see if this thing can be trapped or anything. I am super suspicious of this pristine chest in a decrepit basement.
So Arthur takes out his greatsword and he swings it at the chest, and it pings off of one of the polished metal rivets that are running through it and just vibrates in his hand as it ricochets back a little bit, thankfully not cutting himself, and it goes zing, and there's a loud like bong that rings throughout the room here.
You hear heavy footfall as Ollie sprints through the well room and into their room.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I don't
The
want to
kind of
This
jumps
room is
away.
suspicious as fuck, and
What was that noise?
checking out this chest.
Oh.
How
I like
It's a
trying to
sturdy
hit it with a
chest.
sword.
Ollie
Mhm.
holds
Do you
up
have
his
a lockpick?
crossbow. Or not crossbow, crowbar.
Maybe? I don't know.
Sure.
Ollie's
I don't know if I have all my items in here either. I don't know.
Can Arthur aid with the crowbar if extra strength is needed?
He could certainly do that.
Yeah, I wanted to see if there's traps with this chest or something.
So checking for traps would be an investigation check. Or a perception check if you want to
Okay.
stand back to do it. It's a higher DC with just a perception than it is an investigation, though. Granted, you both just stabbed it and hit it and nothing happened, so...
It's probably fine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I just like poked at it and just kept pushing pressure on it, whereas Arthur just actually swung the sword at it
Hit
recklessly.
it the wrong way.
Can I? So, having a knowledge of breaking into things, being a rogue and all, could Ollie insert the crowbar where he thinks it'll be at its weakest point for the chest, and then have somebody else push on it?
Alright, so just from your knowledge of breaking into things without being able to use your lockpicks, you look this chest over and you're pretty certain that a crowbar itself isn't what's going to be opening it if you're prying the actual chest, but the lock hole on the padlock is a flip lock, and you might be able to put a corner of the crowbar in that and break the lock enough that you could maybe have somebody like Nicholas or Arthur bash the lock part off, since it is a padlock that is separate from the chest itself.
Okay. In that case, Ollie will do that. He'll try to position the crowbar to where it'll be most effective, and then he'll look over at Arthur because he's had the most show of strength so far, and just tip his head like, okay, you wanna give it a try like this?
I'm gonna pat Arthur on the shoulder and say, "You have my permission," and I cast guidance.
Alright, you can add a d4 to your roll, Arthur. You can either use athletics or sleight of hand, whichever one's better for you.
And then
Athletics.
Ollie will step to the side, but offer some assistance as
22.
well,
Alright,
in
so
keeping it straight.
Alright, so yeah, Ollie, you're holding the crowbar into place. Arthur, you're going to take your sword and still in its scabbard, and you're going to hit the crowbar with it like it's a bat, which in turn shoves the crowbar deeper into the lock, and you hear a resounding crunch as the lock splits and falls half open. And Ollie, it only takes a couple of the wiggles of the crowbar to pry it the rest of the way off. And your chest is now unlocked.
Woo! Ollie's gonna step back and get out of the way. And he gives his
Nicholas,
crowbar.
want to do the honors?
Huh?
Nicholas, do you want to
Want to do the honors?
Oh yeah, sure.
All open for you.
Alright, so Nicholas, you step up and you open the chest. And inside here you see the, Gon and Ollie, you see the same black robes that you saw in the other two chests that you had previously opened, although none of these robes have any form of moth holes or mold to them. They have a slightly damp scent, Arthur, that hits your nose, but it's not moldering yet. It's just damp. There is also, in its own elegantly ruined leather-wrapped scabbard, lying on top of these robes, a short sword.
I saw these robes in the chest that I opened for Gon. Ritual stuff, maybe?
I mean,
Although
the
those
kids
were-
said that there were people, believe. They said that there were people.
Mm-hmm.
Their family, right?
They said that their family started having weird people come to the basement.
Yeah.
Guess we know why.
I guess,
Yeah.
could I make a religion check
You
to
can.
see if I... Yeah, I can figure out what purpose of these robes might be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, if you know what kind of ritual. Then...
That's okay.
So, you look at these robes, and they actually look like pretty standard, black hooded robes that you'd see on a lot of people who were practicing some sort of worship service. Depending on the god that they were worshiping or the deity, they could be a number of colors and sizes and lengths of sleeve. These ones are all pitch pure black. They have no signs of runes or etchings upon them. They do have a long, deep hood that one could pull up over their head, though, which you know to be a little bit more common amongst religions that are secretive about their members. You aren't exactly sure what religion this might be about because you don't see any symbols upon the robes, but they do look like some form of religious vestment meant to not only be used during worship but also to conceal one's identity from the rest of the people at the service.
I don't imagine it's a particularly public ritual if you're gonna wear something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of seems counterintuitive considering these were living quarters and the kids have seen them come over and stuff, so
You get a sense of kind of disagreement from both Rose and Thorn, and you get little flashes of pictures in your head of the door opening to the front door of the house and people talking, and immediately after, there's kind of a sense of your mother approaching you, a stern-faced woman with very severe features, and grabbing you each by an arm and dragging you upstairs. Casting glances over your shoulder, you would sometimes see figures entering the house, but you were locked upstairs in your room before you ever had a chance to see who had come.
I mean, did they come in civil clothes or already hooded cloaks? Because that's basically what I meant, that they arrived at the house.
You never got to see who exactly it was that arrived at the house. You heard their voices, some women, some female, coming from the front door on occasions whenever they would come to visit, but you never physically got to see and set your eyes on the people actually entering your home. Your mother forced you to the rooms upstairs when they arrived before they came in from the front hallway.
I see.
I mean,
Well,
presumably, dear mom and dad would have known. But I don't know if the children would have. In fact, I know that the children wouldn't have.
right, you're right. All right then. Does anybody want the short sword? Arthur kind of pets his own great sword. I prefer bigger weapons.
I don't know, is it cursed?
Doesn't look more cursed than anything else here.
I've already got a rapier, but if nobody else wants it, I guess I have some room in my pack.
It could be good.
Anybody who's
mean, if we-
anybody who's looking at the short sword, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Ollie's kind of eyeing it a little bit.
Could you roll that for me?
Sure.
It's a sword!
Swords go stab, stab. Or sometimes slash, you know, depending. Character
Depends on which
sheet.
direction you go.
Exactly.
Personal preference.
Perception. Oh, not so great. Okie dokie. So both Arthur and Gon, you notice, so this sword is laying on top of these robes you're looking at, and you kind of had to move it to get to one so you could like shake it out and look it over for your religion check. And when you did so, it kind of slipped a little bit out of the sheath, and you notice the blade looks a lot shinier, a lot silverier than a normal short sword.
Oh,
Ooh.
wait,
I
this
think-
might be magical. And I kind of look at Gon, and we're probably nodding at each other.
Why don't y'all go have another little look around the place? I'll sit here and work on my detect magic. If it all looks fine, congratulations, Ollie. You can be the owner of a shiny new short sword.
Sure, if nobody else wants it.
I really don't use short swords.
I mean, I could hang on to it, but it would be a backup. So we'll see how good this thing might be.
Okay.
And I'll
Same.
start doing my my ritual.
Okay, dokie. You go
Ollie's
ahead.
gonna hang here and guard Gon while he does this.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So, as Gon, you sit on the mostly dry bed. Nicholas and Arthur, you go to take a look in these two rooms. The very first one you look into, the bed in here, while it looks like it's in much better repair than the two up north had been, is slashed in many different directions. It looks like the mattress has been rent apart and it is soaked in a red liquid that is dried to a deep crimson. The blanket that had once been fluffy white is completely soaked in the red and stained forevermore. You see pieces of gelatinous flesh poking up from beneath the stuffing of the bed, and you see a old-looking chest that's in fairly decent repair. Looks dry, and there's a little bit of rust around the edges. The chest is not bloody, though. The bed is.
Arthur nopes out of it immediately and checks on the other room, leaving that one to Nicholas. Good luck!
So, this
Step
room...
back over to Ollie and borrow the crowbar.
Yeah, sure. And then Ollie passes over the crowbar.
This bedroom is a lot less bloody than the last one you were in. The bed looks threadbare and kind of damp. There is a little bit of mold here and there upon it, and looks like moths have eaten holes through it. The chest here is quite old. There's a lot of rust covering the metal bits, but the wood has only developed mold in one or two places.
Does it look like... Does it have a lock or of any kind?
This one does have a lock upon it, but you can see that it is actually unlocked and just kind of dangling in the strap.
Okay, I very carefully check for blood.
You don't
very
see any
carefully
blood.
open it.
Alright, you open the chest and you find, let's see, that one is C. You see a bunch of black robes akin to the ones that you found in a lot of the other chests. These ones are kind of thrown haphazardly in there instead of neatly folded like most of the others had been. Whoever was in this room didn't really care about their clothes very much. And on top of it, you see a black leather eye patch with something red and sparkly winking at the very center of it.
Ooh. I poke at it with my scabbard.
You poke at it with your scabbard and it goes tink, as though you've hit something that is either metal or rock.
Okay, I dare to take a closer look. Is it like something like a ruby?
Very close. It's a carnelian. This is a black leather eye
Oh, that
patch
is-
with a red carnelian that is embedded in the eye patch itself. It's sparkly and red and it's worth about 50 gold.
Ooh, nice. Shall pocket that.
Alrighty. And Nicholas, you're going after this chest in the bloody room?
Yes. Well, first, like I kind of squint down over to onto the floor, see if I can look under the bed from where I'm at with dark vision.
You peer towards the bed and you notice that it's flat on the ground. There is no underneath.
Okay.
It is a mattress literally on top of a wooden board on top of the floor. No elevation whatsoever.
Okay. I want to do a quick investigation of the bed, just seeing if there's like anything, like clues or
Mhm.
anything aside from a bloodstained mattress and blanket. Anything unusual about it?
Go ahead and roll that investigation check. That would require you to be up close and personal, though, if you're
Yep.
investigating.
I don't have the agency to do either one of those things at this moment.
I will make you now up close and personal and do investigation check for you. Bop. All right, you rolled 13. You approach the bed, kind of poke at it with the crowbar, getting ready to swing at anything that pops out. Nothing happens. You see that the blood and viscera here are quite old and decayed with time. You can smell a putrid smell of rot coming from it that is not only made of mold but also of moldering flesh from the bits that are left in the bed. Something ripped someone up in here a very long time ago. Yeah, nothing happens when you poke the bed.
Okay. Then I would head over to the chest
All right.
and crack that thing open.
All right, and I'll go ahead and have you roll an athletics check to do that. 12. So you get the crowbar in there and you start bending up. This one does have a padlock on it, so although it is kind of a little bit corroded here and there, 12 is still not enough to crack this particular chest open.
Need a hand?
I'm wrong. Yeah. Yes, I can't quite get this padlock off.
Would he have advantage because he saw how Ollie did it and he would know how to place the crowbar?
If he decides to do it that way, that requires another person like Arthur, who's helping now, to do so. So what he can do is he can put the crowbar into the lock and then have Ollie smack it again if they want to do it that way. Or if they wanted to try to do it the muscle way instead of the smart way, they can both try to lever with the crowbar, and one of them will have advantage on that.
We would do it the smart way.
Okay, so Nicholas, you insert the corner of the crowbar into the hole like you saw Ollie do it before in the next room with the stronger looking lock, and you line it up and you hold it in place so that Arthur can do an athletics check and pop that thingy open.
Thwack.
With a natural 20,
Thwack indeed.
you split that lock straight down the center, and the crowbar actually digs into the wood a little bit on the other side. Nicholas, you feel the vibrations through your hands, and they're actually kind of unpleasant and jittering, and your tail poofs. But the chest is now open.
Sorry.
And what is inside said chest?
Alright, you open up the chest, and much as you've expected to find, there are a number of black robes. These ones actually have silver trim to them, however. They look like very small wisps of mists and tiny skulls with smiley faces stitched onto them in silver
of course.
thread. Yeah, and they're a little bit smaller than the other robes. So they must have belonged to a much smaller humanoid. And you also find on top of everything an ivory hairbrush with silver bristles and a silver mirror.
I'll grab those.
Welcome to the Brush and Mirror Club.
Mm-hmm. The brush is worth 25 gold, and the mirror is worth 10.
Very nice. If we ever get to trading again.
And by this time gone, you have finished looking over the short sword and trying to suss out any magical properties it has. You're a little bit disappointed to find that it is not a magical short sword, but a quick squint at it, since it did look different than a regular, reveals it to be a silvered short sword.
All right, Ollie, welcome to the ownership of one silvered short sword. Good against things that I guess just can't fucking stand silver.
So it is going to give you an additional 1 point of damage against shifters if you were to attack a shifter of some kind, be they werewolf or otherwise. It is going to give you an additional point of damage against them. And
It's not me.
no, it's not. It's not Arthur or Nicholas. And it also is going to against things like undead or shifters or were creatures. It is going to act as though it were a magical weapon. So you would also have a +1 to hit against them. And it, for all intents and purposes, would count as a magical weapon towards them when making attacks. So that if it says, any attacks made by a non-magical weapon do half damage, they're not going to do half damage. They're going to do full damage.
Nice.
How did the well water smell?
It smelled
Besides the-
like rot and swamp and algae.
Yeah. Even the
both.
top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just take not the silvery ones because they seem too pretty? Can I take one silvery robe and then go and look at something that's sort of clean and not too molding? Maybe the damp ones that are not molding yet. One of the robes and try to clean up with it.
Alrighty, so the best robes were in the room that Gon and Ollie are in. Second best robes are in the one that Nicholas is in right now, the one with the silver weave. Third best robes were in the room right over here where you found the eye patch. Those guys were just damp with maybe 1 or 2 holes of mold in them, but not like terrible. And the other 2 rooms had pretty bad robes.
Okay. Dampness without the mold sounds good.
Yeah,
Helps
it only
clean the fur.
Yeah, these ones only had like a couple speckles of mold.
What size are the ones that I'm in right now?
The size
You
of
said they were for like small creatures, like
yeah,
halflings and the such.
halflings, maybe a little bit too big for a gnome. Might fit a dwarf. Might be just a little bit short for a dwarf. You would have to like hold one up to be sure, but a halfling or dwarf maybe, or perhaps a young child.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Don't really have anyone that can use those. But I would suggest for us to grab a decent looking robe that fits us just in case.
Good
Oh,
idea.
we want to go in disguise?
Possibly.
It's good to have the option.
Yeah, no, I like it, I like it.
How many robes are in this room? In
Most of
the best
che-
robe room.
Yeah, most of the chests had about 5 to 6 robes in them.
So if these fit us, we should grab one each.
How tall is Arthur?
6 something.
All right, so they're voluminous
sec.
enough that you can
6'3".
they're voluminous
that
enough
tall.
that you can fit them over top of your armor because they're very loose, they're very billowy. The shoulders might be a little bit of a strain, but you can make it happen. But they're definitely not long enough to cover up your legs from the knees downwards. They stop at about your
Honk,
knees, Arthur. Honk honk.
Sorry
Gon,
about that.
no, you're fine.
It's okay.
Gon, how tall are you?
I don't know, but not 6 foot. Somewhere between 5 and 6, presumably.
Yeah, the robes on you probably come to about mid chins. They almost reach your feet, but not quite. But they definitely look a lot more normal on you. Ollie?
I'd say Ollie's closer to like 7 feet tall, but that's pushing it
Wow.
maybe like 6'8".
Oh my god, Ollie is taller than
He's
Arthur. I never realized that.
he's tall and skinny.
He just hunches all the time, so you can't tell.
Literally, he has a very weak looking stature, but if he stands up to his full height on his, because he's got hooves, he's got digitigrade legs. Most of his height is in his legs.
Alright, so Ollie, because you are crouching like half the time, you look like you fit in it about the same as Gon does, since you're always kind of like half leaning down. If you were to stand up, though, it would come up to just above your knees. You'd see some thigh if you were standing at your full height. Because you're so thin, though, you have no problem just being engulfed by these nice flowing robes, though, with your crouched stature.
It feels like safety.
It's like a snuggie. Nicholas, how tall are you?
6'7".
Yeah, you're having the problems that Arthur is having. It comes up and you can see the top of your thighs just a little bit. The only two that look normal in these robes are ironically the tallest person and the shortest person, Gon and Ollie.
I did
Ollie.
not realize that you are both taller than Arthur. That I
Arthur
made him so tiny.
Arthur still
my
has no
goodness.
idea that Ollie is taller than Arthur. Ollie
I
looks
never
like he's
mentioned-
only a little bit taller than Gon.
I never mentioned his height before, but yeah, he's about 6'8", 6'9".
If he were standing in most of the hallways in this basement, his horns would be scraping the ceiling.
Basically,
man.
but he's just always terrified and just hunched, and his knees are bent. He looks pathetic.
He's like in a half fetal position at all times.
Basically.
Poor
Gun
thing.
is just hanging out like probably a good 6 inches shorter than everyone else. Just like, this is fine. This is fine.
So anyway, you each have a robe. Ollie and Gon are the only ones who look semi-decent in them just because of Ollie's crouched nature and Gon with the only normal height amongst you. Arthur and Nicholas...
What do you mean? Semi-decent. I look great.
You're right. You look fantastic, Gon. Absolutely fabulous. Rose has you flick your hair over one shoulder and just
Yeah,
like
my
strut.
1 inch long hair.
Yeah, well, it's fine. It's still fabulous.
I do
hair.
the motion anyway, yeah.
Imaginary hair. Nicholas and Arthur, you look like you're playing dress up.
Seeing this, he would just take the robe off. He's like, well, we tried at least. Or at least for me and Arthur there.
Arthur carefully folds his robe into half and half and half and half and tucks it into one of the straps on his pack. It might come in handy just in case.
Possibly.
Like it's a better idea to keep it with us anyways.
Arthur plans on getting it tailored later to fit him better.
So, did we check everything out? Can we get out of here now for a little bit?
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Let's move on. Forward.
Okay.
Ollie
Okay.
sprints
I
from the
don't-
hallway.
Alrighty, so down here you see two sets of stairs that are leading
Okay.
upwards.
One moment.
Okay. You see two sets of stairs that are leading upwards in kind of 3-foot intervals almost. So these stairs right here lead to a gradual 3-foot rise, and then these stairs over here just after them lead to a gradual 3-foot rise. So you're kind of going up again. And then you see two hallways, one here and one here along this.
Okay, forward. Gon was like trying to push Ollie, and then Ollie just zooms ahead. And Gon is like, this will not do. I need to be in command.
Sorry,
And goes back to
sorry.
get Arthur.
I was trying to draw.
What? No one's listening to my orders as usual.
Ollie just wanted to get out of the well room, man. He slows down once he's out.
Alright, so you see one hallway going this way, and you see another gap, which should be another hallway going this way.
Try to perception.
Terrible example of my drawing. Incoming soon.
Gonna try to proceed down this hallway, and I don't see shit.
Did we check this way?
We came in through the top, I think. No.
Nah, those are going down.
You do see one set of stairs going down over here.
Let's see what's over here. Oh, what's this? It's a not downwards direction if you guys are interested in such.
Arthur, I'm gonna need you to roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh shit. I don't even know which way we are going. I'm so sorry. Save. It's a save. And that's
Alright.
not the save.
Yeah, so Gon, as you and Ollie were stepping away from that hallway to explore the next one, you peer in, you see what looks like a couple of pillars with a large, almost picnic table style trestle table and benches, and a number of bones scattered along the floor. You hear a loud rending crack from behind you down the other hallway that you had skipped over.
Ollie wheels back and almost skids to a stop as he dashes back and... What?
What was that?
And Ollie, you are, not Ollie, Arthur, as you were walking down this hallway, not paying attention to your great leader, Gon, you step on a part of the floor where the stones, just if you'd been paying attention, looked a little bit odd. And they give beneath you, and you plummet down a good 10 feet into a pit with a number of spikes. Let's see.
Ow!
That's going to be 1d6 of bludgeoning and 2d10 of piercing.
Ow!
Alright, that's 1 bludgeoning damage. And 3 piercing damage as one of the spikes kind of slashes through your thigh as you tumble down.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you managed to avoid most of the spikes. They're actually interspersed rather well. Hold on, let me draw so you can see the actual extent of the pit.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Okay.
I was just trying to draw, but you can see I can't, and then I wasn't paying attention.
I love it. When I picture it like Ollie hunchbacked and like bending over at like the hip or something. But this is so much better.
I can draw hunched over and things, and like I can imagine him like just crouching, not crouching, just hunched like the teenagers do, like always just kind of curling in on himself, in afraid and trying to worry his hands. That was the first thing. And then his legs are like falling up.
So what happened to Arthur again? The
He
ground?
fell down a
He
pit.
fell into a pit of spikes, but he
God.
fell well, relatively. So
He
only broke him a
used
little.
he used his inherited cat-like reflexes from his mom to not take as much
Yeah.
damage.
Basically.
Gon leans over the pit and says, "Now you know what happens when you don't do what I say."
And that's where we're gonna end it for the night.
Oh my god.
How deep was this pit?
It's only 10 feet.
Oh.
Oh.
He fell with a bunch of rope. You can probably pull him out
Yeah.
eventually.
Guess
That
what? I
will-
have 10 feet of rope.
That will, however,
Stairs.
you do have 10 feet of rope. That will, however, be
7
it
feet of
for
Ollie.
That will, however, be it for the night, so you're going to have to try that next time. Thank you for everybody out there who watched session 1 of our Strad Sundays. This is Curses, Also Maybe Vampires. You can see us 2 weeks from now, same time, same place, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time starting, and where we will see if Arthur will ever listen to God like a good boy.
He was listening. I'm so sorry. I didn't see which way they went.
I will see everybody else in about 30 minutes time as I take my break to go let a puppy outside, make sure my children are in bed, and get something else to drink. When we will be starting our session 2 of the Strahd Sundays, Barovian Nights, including Felix, which is Ollie's player, and Vaughn, which is Nicholas's player, on their other characters, who are supposed to be the serious group but have been kind of failing at that. So we'll see if they get it right this time. But anyway, we will.
Define serious.
Yeah, I don't even know anymore. But we will see you in about 30 minutes time from those of us here at Curses, Also Maybe Vampires. Good night. Don't let the pits bite.
Bye.
Good night.